Hey everybody, ReefGrrl here, and welcome to ReefGrrl Live. I am so happy you could make it. The whole idea here is to have some fun, chat, get some questions answered, maybe show off what you're doing, and get to know each other a little bit better. So sit back, relax, grab a drink. The stream is about to begin. We're here. We're live.
All right.
Awesome.
That was cool.
I see a lot of people in the chat here. This is awesome. You must have been waiting for a while, some of you. Look at everybody. Yay, it's starting. Gabe was in at 6:57 p.m. I don't know if he's still here.
All right.
I was messing around with a couple things, and maybe you guys got some kind of an advance warning that I wasn't expecting to go out. So I apologize for that if that's what happened. So here we are, live streams. Try this again. It's been a few months now getting it all sort of figured out. And being the first one, I hope it goes smoothly, but please forgive me if there are some ups and downs and weirdness that happens. So I thought we'd start with a few of us that we've been doing the testing and things like that. And for a minute, you guys need to kind of think of me as the troll that's guarding the bridge. Because I'm going to ask each of you a question, and don't worry, it's not embarrassing or, you know, anything like that, or hard or tricky. And if you could answer the question and just kind of introduce yourself, say if you have a YouTube channel that people can check out, and we'll go through three of you, until we get some people waiting in the studio to add more in. Then we'll add more in, and we'll see what's happening in the chat. I'll do my best to monitor that, and we'll move forward. So, Pat's going away. Billy.
Go ahead.
So, Billy, your troll question is, what did you learn from the most frustrating reefing experience you've ever had?
That is a tough. The most frustrating experience I ever had.
Yeah. What did you learn from that?
Okay, so that was when my tank. Well, that's when the seal blew on my tank. And what I learned from that is to have plenty of RO water on standby and up to temperature.
Yep. Because
when my tank blew, I was in the process of cleaning my drum, and I'm like, I'm not going to need RO water for a couple days. But mine holds 32 gallons. So if that was up to temperature, I could have added salt and had, 102.6 to put my corals in 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep. So always having RO water at, 76, 78 degrees. Yep.
All right. Yeah, that's a really good tip. And, Jonas, he remembers that. Anybody who doesn't know Billy Pipes, this is Billy Pipes, who was just telling us about that. He does have a YouTube channel. So if you don't know about it, be sure to check that out. All right. Thanks, Billy.
Yep.
Okay, Pat, your troll question is, name a fish that you really, 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 really want, but you'll never be able to have it.
Harlequin tusk, without a doubt in my mind.
Yeah. And why do you think you wouldn't be able to have it?
Do what? You're kind of cutting out.
Oh, sorry. Is this better?
Yeah. What was the question? I'm sorry.
Oh, if you name a fish that you really want that you can't have, you said Harlequin tusk.
Yeah.
So why would you not
did you say after
have
that?
it?
Basically, but I guess just because it would eat every crab that I ever tried to keep, or snail or something. I mean, because I already have a problem with the wrasse, some of the wrasse, that aren't reef safe already.
Right.
So I can imagine how that guy would be with the big old teeth it has. So
Yeah. Yeah, I do know a couple of people who have harlequin tusks in reefs, so it's interesting to it would be interesting to see what their experience is like with that. The first time I saw one was in 2010 at the Vancouver Aquarium, and I spent about 2 weeks looking it up, trying to figure out what it was.
yeah, for the most part, I think majority of people have good luck, but you know, last thing being Murphy, obviously the rule applies to everything that I do. So
Yeah, no kidding, eh? All right, thanks, Pat. Murphy's Aquatics also has a YouTube channel, so be sure to check that one out. There's lots of really good DIY on there. All right, so next, Richmond Reefer, your question. So think of your very first reef tank, and in one sentence, describe your very first reef tank.
Wait, hold on a second. Whoever's watching YouTube, you got to mute it.
Yeah.
Well, for some reason, I can't hear her on the live stream.
Oh.
I can only hear it if I go through watch her on YouTube.
You might have to back out and come back in.
I don't know if she has me muted or something.
Nope. Let me just check. Nope, I don't have you muted. You guys can hear me though, Billy and Pat.
Billy, I can hear you and Pat, but I can't hear her.
Oh, that's interesting.
What I would try to do maybe is just back out and come back in.
All right, I'm going to do that.
yeah.
Okay. All righty. All right, let's look at some quick comments. Carlos. The panel all look like they're playing with glasses on. Well, to tell you the honest truth, I can't see hardly anything with these glasses on, so they're coming off.
Oh, there she is, ladies and gentlemen. There she
and
is.
I was doing that. I was doing this to support her. So
yeah, that's right.
Actually, I have a glare on my glasses. These might be better.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep my.
I have a whole box of glasses. I'll show you guys right here. So we're gonna do one every week. We're gonna do a different one. So there we go. All right. So who we got here? All these people in the chat. This is amazing. Wow. Gabe's Reef AL. Welcome. Rocco Tito. These guys were in early, so hopefully you're still here. T40, Braveheart. T40, nice to see you. Click clacks. Michael Lee. Hey, Michael. At 8:37. I hope you're still here. Reefing Rican. Who else have we got? Oh, Javi Gwaltney. Javi, I don't know if I've said your name correctly. I've been emailing with you. Fish Tropic. Sandy. Nice to see you, Sandy. There she is. Hey, everyone. And Hector. Hector is going to be listening because he's moving tanks. So he was going to try and come in, but he's got stuff to do. He's Calypso's Reefing. Okay. So now
Calypso's got a pretty cool couple of videos up lately of the new sump that he's building. It's pretty cool. You guys should go check out Calypso's Reefing when you get a chance.
Yep. Calypso's has a really good channel. There's a lot of videos on there, and the updates are frequent enough that you feel like you really know what's going on all the time. So it's good. All the ups and downs. It's really, really interesting. All right. So Jose's back. Richmond Reefer. How's that, Richmond Reefer? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear now.
Awesome. That's great. All right. So your troll question. For anybody who's just come in, they're troll questions because I'm the troll guarding the bridge. So when you come into the studio, I've got 6 or 7 different questions that I'll have ready to ask you, and they're not hard, and they're not going to cause a divorce or anything like that. They're just meant to be kind of icebreakers. Yeah. So, okay. So your question, Jose, was think of your first reef tank, and in one sentence, describe your first reef tank.
Disaster.
That's just one word.
That was quick.
Yeah.
It was a 40 breeder, I had my LFS drill make a custom overflow box. I had a custom 20 long sump made by the same LFS, and there was just a whole bunch of plumbing problems. My skimmer was too big. Skimmer section was too small. Lots of issues.
Learning though, right? That's how you
Yeah.
learn.
Yeah, learning.
That's awesome.
That was back in 2007.
Wow. I think I started in 2011. So I don't have as much experience as probably most of you, although I'm probably like 30 years older than most of you. So who have we got in the comments? Who have I not seen yet? Click Clacks, T40, Diacanthus. Hey, Broke Reef Man 45. Gabe's Reef, Death Angels, Chimp the Reefer. Chimp knows from live streams. I see him in a lot of live streams. Braveheart Reefer 525. PR Fish Girl. Hey, Monica. Jonas Daunoravicius. Jonas, did I say your name? Tell me. AZ Reefer. Tina's Reef. Hi, Tina. It's been ages since we've seen you. Let me know if you want a link. I'm going to put my email address on the screen. And there it is here. So if anybody wants the studio link, just send me an email at reefgrrl@gmail.com. And I will send you back the link to come into the studio. There's 4 of us in here. We have room for 2 more easily. And once we hit 6, if anyone else wants to come in, there'll be a waiting room and one of us can leave. Well, it can't be me, unfortunately, because I'm hosting, but we'll ask for volunteers to leave and new people can come in. All right. FC's Reefing is here. Hoser 1. Oh, damn. Billy Pipes is here. Cool.
I see a lot of people commenting, about Dave.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yep. Yeah, this will never ever replace what Dave did because he was so good at this. And I sure as heck don't have the stamina for 4, 5, 6 hour live streams.
Right.
But I would kind of like to sort of think about the positive way he used to handle everything, which always made it a pleasure to listen to it. Being female, I like drama, just the same as a lot of other females. But you know what? I want it to be positive, and that's what Dave was so good at, and that's why we still can listen to his stuff and learn from it and enjoy it.
Yep.
Rick's 210 Saltwater Reef Aquarium. That says it all right there. Hey, Rick. Nat King Reef is here. Alex G's Aquarium. Yes, Alex G. He of the 1,700 gallons of water. Wow, that's just crazy. Oh, we've got a question here from Hoser. When anybody started, did you start on a budget? And if so, did you just go the save your money route and upgrade? That's an interesting question.
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go rogue. My first tank was it was actually a 40 long. It was the same dimensions as a 55, but shorter. And I just did hang on the back everything, thinking that was the inexpensive route. But at first, I tried to do it on a budget just to get it, running.
Yep. Anybody else?
Yeah, I tried to go the budget route. That's why everything was pretty much DIY from the LFS. I tried to cheap out on a lot of parts, and I ended up paying for it in the long run.
Yeah.
You really want to invest in a good return pump and really think out your plumbing and make sure if your return pump shuts off that your sump can hold the water that we'll return back to it. That was a problem I found quickly.
Yeah, I remember CJ in some of his early videos, CJ's Aquariums, talking about the math that you have to do to figure out exactly that. When you turn your return pump off, how many gallons of water can your sump absorb before you got trouble?
Mm-hmm.
There is a simple fix to that.
And
Just put a check valve right on top of your return pump.
yeah, so it won't keep pumping.
Yep.
Or so it won't back siphon, I mean, sorry.
Yep.
I'll answer the question now, I guess. I'll put my 2 cents in, but when I started out, I bought like just cheap stuff like mushrooms just to see, what kind of lighting. It took a couple attempts, but my first successful reef tank was, I think, back in 2004. I've been in the saltwater hobby since 1997, but my first successful reef tank was a 29 hull, and it just had a hang on the back. And back then, there wasn't like the test kits that we can have available to us these days, right? Like, so everybody can have a Hanna checker. You can do a simple test. 30 seconds later, you know what your alkalinity is. Back then, after several, small attempts at doing stuff, I did put on a UV sterilizer, and I was using Bionic 2-part back then. I'm pretty sure that's what the brand was, but it just said like add 10 nmls per whatever a day. So really, there was no, okay, my corals are consuming this much alkalinity, So I got lucky, basically lucky for a year, because I wasn't anywhere close to an LFS that could test for alkalinity or calcium or anything. And like I said, test kits weren't readily available like they are today. So I had that going for a little over a year and a half. And then as soon as I took the UV sterilizer, within a month, my tank had green hair algae everywhere, and I pretty much lost my reef tank. So that got me on the detrimental path of not wanting to do a reef tank for a while, but I was always in the saltwater hobby for a long time after that. But basically fish only for quite a few years.
Oh, well, my first reef tank was given to me. It was a neglected tank that friends of ours had for their daughter when she went to university. And it was a 35 gallon, I believe 35. It was a weird size. And it was so covered in cyano. I didn't know any better. I thought it looked pretty. And I took pictures into the fish store, and they're all horrified. And there was one tiny clownfish in there, and I called him Sid Vicious because every time I leaned over the tank to do something, he'd try and jump at my face. And I learned after about a month that the salinity in there was like 1.037. So the poor little guy was probably like trying to escape.
Wow.
But it was very much a learning experience, and I never really made a budget, but I was always looking for a cheaper way to do things because I really had sticker shock when it came to the price of things in the early days. So I always tried to spend as little money as possible. Sometimes it worked out really well, other times not so much. All right, so let's see. Oh, there's a comment from Alex about Dave. Yep, that's very true.
Real quick, I want to, anybody that's here, how many we got watching?
Anybody tell us? How many?
59.
Wow.
Sometimes you have to back out and it'll refresh.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it on YouTube at all.
I'll give a sneak peek for everybody that's watching, I guess.
You mentioned today something. You have rock. Oh.
Got everything.
Very nice.
This is the new series.
Beautiful.
This is the, you've seen these. These are the new stickers.
Yeah, your daughter did an amazing job on that logo.
Very nice.
Got a bunch of stickers. I don't know how much people can see that. I don't know if my screen is small or not. But kicking off the new Dave's Nano Tank series. So that's what I'm working on this week.
Nice.
Yep.
Oh, I do have somebody waiting to get in the studio.
Oh.
So let's just pick out a question for him. Oh, I know a good question for him.
Oh boy. I have nothing to do with this, whoever's waiting.
This is Blue Carbon Reefing.
Oh.
Oh, Blue Carbon.
Blue Carbon. Hey, Blue Carbon, can you hear us?
I can hear you. What's going on?
Awesome. Well, you have to think of me as the troll guarding the bridge because I've got questions for you. Everybody who comes in the studio gets one question. It's not tricky or hard. Well, it might be hard, but it's not going to cause a divorce or anything. This is a yes or no question. Okay, John, you ready?
I'm ready.
Do you know within $100 how much you've spent on your reefing hobby in the past 12 months?
Oh,
Only yes or no, because I don't want to be blamed for any divorces.
Is
right?
this live?
Yeah, this is live. You just have to say whether you know or not.
Oh, do I know? Absolutely not.
You don't? I wouldn't be surprised if there are a lot of us in the boat. I have a 1-inch thick file of receipts that I'm afraid to add up.
I would say it's too high to count.
Oh, we have a question from Insane Reefer. Any advice for pale corals, alk 8.7, calcium 410, nitrates 25, phosphate 0.09, 1.026, pH 8.2, mag 1380. Pale corals?
What kind are they?
Yeah, what are they? Are they SPS? Or if they're SPS, I would almost guess light is at play here.
Yeah, and what kind of lights?
Yep. So Insane Reefer, if you can comment what kind of lights you have and what type of corals they are, that'd be great. In the meantime, what else we got going on in the chat? Oh, here's Alex G. He of the 1,700 gallons. Budget over time, do what you can slowly. That's why I spent 2 years building my system. And if you've never seen what Alex G has done, oh my God, you have to go and look at his channel because, like you guys here know from live streams, I just think of his skimmer. I mean, a person can fit inside his skimmer.
Yeah.
You can go over Niagara Falls in his skimmer.
Yeah, the collection cup is literally a pico tank.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. So let's see if we have an answer yet from Insane Reefer about his corals. He's got G2 radions. And he's talking about Mantis. Mantis are notorious for getting pale.
Yeah.
And I always look at ALK as a culprit, but if your ALK is 8.7, I guess it depends if it's stable. If it's a stable 8.7 or within a couple of points of that. But if it's swinging around a lot, what do you think, Pat?
Generally, like SPS, I've found like if you have a paled out coral, it's either A, lighting, not enough light, B, too much light, or C, you're missing a trace element somewhere. Like I had a red acro one time that completely paled out, and once I started dosing iron, it got all of its red colors back to it. So
Oh,
that's what I've learned from experience.
trace elements. So I guess frequency of water changes and any other additives might be a question.
I also had experience where my Monty caps were pale, but it was due to high phosphates.
Yeah, I don't know what would be high phosphates. I've been trying to nail down what that actually means.
Well, at the time, my phosphates were at like 0.17.
Right.
That's what Fisher Hex keeps his at.
Something we always used to talk about with Dave was, you know, the red fill ratio. Not a whole lot of people know that, but there's a certain nitrate to phosphate ratio that you can keep and be successful, not have algae and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it really just depends on what your nitrates and phosphates are, whether you're going to have issues or not. But generally, most people try to keep their phosphates under 0.1, so like 0.08 to 0.03 on the ultra low checker. But that's what I've mostly come across in the hobby with basically SPS growers.
I've always had that issue though, for some reason, with Monty caps. They always turn pink.
Yeah.
Awoken suggesting low nutrients or too much light.
Yep.
Yeah, there's so many factors. And I mean, don't you find as you go along in this hobby, for me, it's been, I guess, just over 8 years. And just when you think you've figured it out, something else comes along. So you read solutions from people and they say, like, oh, you should do it this way. It's so simple. And then you think, okay, I'll try it. But you get complexity, especially in a mixed reef. There's so much complexity that goes on because of all the different needs you have to satisfy. And that's when it starts getting really complicated. At least that's been my experience.
Like for me, when Pat convinced me to get the Hanna ULR phosphate checker, that ruined it for me. because it tested so well, I guess you could say, that it started to like make me nervous. Like, oh God, I gotta have it at 0.024, whatever. That's gotta be perfect. And then we come up with a range, and which I think most people stick with, but like he said, the ratio of nitrates to phosphates. But yeah, that test kit ruined it for me. I don't like using it. Right, Pat?
Speaking of testing, I saw something interesting today on a Facebook saltwater scammer group or rants, or I can't remember which one it is, that apparently Mindstream is no more. And if you know about Mindstream, they were the ones developing the ultimate 10-parameter test device, which used electrical conductivity on a foil disc to measure a set of about 10 different parameters, not nutrients, ionic parameters as opposed to organic parameters. And they apparently have folded. So I'm terribly disappointed. I was already starting to save my money up because that to me would be ideal. The only parameters you'd have to test would be phosphate and nitrate if it actually came true. So
is that the one where it had a bunch of like bottles underneath, like a bunch of little bottles?
No, that's the Robo. I can't remember. Dev Reef Dudes has one of those, or was using one of those. No, this is the one that's about the size of a hockey puck, and it mounts inside, and there's a disc in it that spins around, and there's a foil coating on this disc that's reactive to ions in the water, and each little space has a different type of reaction. So these reactions then go through an algorithm to calculate the levels of whatever sensitivity, whatever ion it's sensitive to give you multiple readings continuously on a 24-hour basis. You have to replace these things once a month via subscription for about $35 a month. and early testing, like a lot of people really liked them. You never really heard about problems, but apparently there have been problems. So I guess taking, PR Fish Girl Mindstream out of business, taking 8 years to develop something when you have investors and you're not getting a return yet. Not good.
Yeah.
So hopefully someone picks up the patents or the technology and comes back with it, because
Well,
it was
GHL was
amazing.
actually making one, and it's going to be available January 31st.
And what is that, Jose?
It's a ion. It's called the Ion Director, and supposedly the probe lasts. I think they were saying 16 months, and it can test 7 different ions, being calcium, magnesium, alkalinity, I think potassium, and a few others. And yeah, they've been really announcing that a lot.
Wow, and who's coming out with that?
GHL.
Oh, GHL. They've got, is it the
Called
Profilux?
the Ion Director.
Huh. I'll have to watch for that. Well, when you have a tank crash, you really know what it's like to have to do testing. It's just ridiculous. But it's the only way back out of the problem a lot of times.
And it also says it tests nitrates and sodium.
Really? Nitrate?
Yep. It says self-cleaning sensor, no reagents, single tester for all parameters, no controller required, and yep, if you have their doser, it automatically adjusts your doser.
Wow. I'm not sure about the automatically adjusting dosing. That freaks me out a bit. I don't mind the idea of, Here's Mo. As lazy as I am, most of my enjoyment is manually testing my tank. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got into a habit where it's a ritual to test alkalinity every night.
I need to get into that habit. I'm still having alkalinity problems in both tanks now, and I need to do a whole bunch of fragging in the big tank. And unless I can get the alk up, I can't do the fragging, because it's going to be a problem, both the healing original pieces and the healing frags. It's going to be a nightmare. So you just don't want to jack it up quickly, of course, but no. I'm using 3 different methods of dosing alk right now, so that I can just remove one when I'm where I need to be. But it's just, it's not keeping up. Things are just growing like nuts. What do we got? I'll stick to my Hannah. Phil, takes a few minutes. And Alex. Alex is lazy, like a lot of us. Yeah, and Tina says, no way, can you be lazy?
Yeah, Tina's a tester.
I just can't get myself into a routine. If I could get into a routine where it was like this day, this time, that would be amazing. But I just get puttering and I forget, or somebody wants something and I say, okay, or something happened. I don't know.
Yep.
Here we go. Awoken just installed Trident. At midnight, it will run its first test. So what does everybody think of Trident? Anyone who has them? Has it?
I don't have one, but I know somebody that has like 6 of them running his store.
Oh yeah? And what does he think?
Yep. So he was a big calcium reactor guy for years, and he's on the road all the time. So if there's an issue, I don't know the whole gist of it, because I don't have a calcium reactor, but he said something like, if he needs to change something, I don't know what he needs to change, but it can't be changed, in another state, through an app.
Oh.
So now, like when he's at a baseball game, if something's going on, he doesn't have to call his guys in to go to the shop. He just corrects it through his Trident. You know, he can run a test, he can dose something, he can lower something. So he's gotten rid of all his calcium reactors, and all the tanks are running on Tridents now.
Wow. That takes a big leap of faith.
Yeah.
You got to be trusting the equipment.
I've seen a few people complaining about the calcium, I believe, reading being way off.
Everyone in the chat, that was Blue Carbon Reefing. John, his tank is in the lower left corner of the tank of the screen. Let's look at a tank.
You guys don't want to see my face, do you?
I can't show my tank because it's upstairs, and I have not found a way to broadcast the Wise camera on here as a background yet. Have to work on that. Oh, Bluegrass Reef has the Trident and absolutely loves it. Chimp is going to get on the Kalkwasser train. Oh, 3.9. Whoa. So Chimp, if you can say, how fast did it drop to that level? Was it like a month, or how long had it been since your previous test? Oh, looks like Pelfrey's in here.
Pelfrey.
Uh-oh, yoo-hoo.
No, he's just in the chat. He hasn't asked me for the link, although I guess I should check my Gmail, because I did. Here, I'll show this for a bit. I'll just check my email and see if anybody's waiting. Oh, we do have somebody.
Did you try making moderators or anything?
I made Tina a moderator. She mentioned that I needed moderators, so I made Tina a moderator, but I think it surprised her. So
the power.
yeah, that's right. Well, let's put this comment up. So I'm just going to send out this link. If I can figure out how to do it in the middle of a broadcast. That might be something. What? Lynn.
That's
Come
awesome.
on.
Who's that?
Thank you, Lynn Reefer. You don't have to do that, but I really do appreciate it. It'll help pay for this, so that's awesome.
Who's going to the Lancaster swap January 18th?
Oh, here we go.
I don't know if this will make a difference, but I'll try to put a filter on the camera.
It's dark.
Okay, so I am sending this link out, and I have no way of checking if this person is a troll, so I guess we'll find out. Hopefully he's not.
You gotta just know where your eject button is.
Yep, I sure do. All right, let's hit send and see what happens. What's the worst that can happen, right?
Oh, the good thing is they're always waiting backstage until you let them in. So
That's true.
Makes a difference, right?
Yep. I know Dave always used to look people up And if you couldn't find them on YouTube,
Yeah.
he
They didn't. Usually, if they didn't have a channel that's like, you know, a year or two old.
yeah. Yes, thank you very much, Lynn. I really do appreciate that. Oh, and there's another one, Pelfrey. Happy birthday. Thanks. That's hilarious. Do we ever know what his birthday actually was? Was it in October at some point? I think.
Same birthday as Tina's, I believe.
Ah.
So Tina, when's your birthday and how old are you? No, I'm just kidding.
I think we did that on one of the streams, actually. Okay, so here's another comment regarding the reagents. Liquid drips can vary in volume, pellets don't. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's very true. When you're measuring out drops, they really can vary, and I know that using the Coral Essentials, I used up Trace C far sooner than the others, and I realized the dropper was a little bit different. The drops were quite a lot bigger. Oh, here we go. August 35th. Awesome, Tina. Oh, 25th.
Here we go.
Hey, there's Sharbuckle. Hey, Sharbuckle. You have a new tank. That's very cool. The other thing is a lot of folks use Instagram for quick updates that are kind of daily things going on. I know I sure do. It's called ReefGrrl. Pat does, Billy does, Richmond Reefer, Blue Carbon Reefing. And it's a great place to sort of keep up to date on a daily basis. So even all the people that are in the chat, take a minute and go check each other out, because it's quite surprising how involved people are with all of the various social media. It surprised me. And I've met a lot of really great people by just checking them out on Instagram and seeing what they got going on. You get to find out about their pets and vacations and all kinds of other stuff in addition to the reefs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I recently made mine private because it was going to be more like friends and family type thing, you know. And I know some people are like, you know, I want it to be about reefing, but I, you know, like me, I throw out pictures of my dog and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, Pelfrey Mollywood on the mechanic's chest aquarium stand. Oh, Carlos. Oh my God. DNT squad. Thank you, Carlos. Very much appreciated. Look at that truck.
Carlos needs to be in here talking.
Yeah, he wins car shows with that truck.
I bet. That paint job looks stunning.
I would put Billy's old truck to shame.
I like Carlos. He's my buddy, but my truck would rip him up. You would beat me. You would beat me in a race, Carlos. But
I had to start something.
I know Carlos is like, I'm getting on there now. Go ahead, Carlos. I dare you, bro.
Long time no speak, y'all. Hey, Zane. I'm so glad you could join us. Oh, here's another question. What's your all's favorite fish you currently have?
That's easy for me.
Yeah, okay, you go.
Well, I currently only have a few fish because of the issues that I've been having. But one fish I'll always have is a good old pajama cardinal. And the reason why is because many reasons. They're hardy. You know, when they're, you know, the first like 3 or 4 years of their lives, they're colorful. But the main reason is because they're fearless. So they literally just float around and don't care about anything. So if you have fish that are scaredy cats, these fish tend to draw them out and give them, you know, give the scared fish a little bit more confidence to come out and swim around.
See you, Sean. Thanks for coming by, and we'll see you next week. All right. How about you, Pat, or John, or Jose?
Well, I guess I would say my favorite fish in my tank is my Mocha Ocellaris clownfish I've had since 2007. I guess because of the time it's been with me, it's special to me. But my favorite fish overall would have to be the African leopard wrasse, or some people call it the blue star wrasse.
Right.
I really like the red with the spots and a little bit of black under the belly. It's a pretty fish.
Beautiful.
Probably my favorite one that I have right now is the Caribbean blue tang.
Is that the Atlantic blue tang, or is it a different species?
that's
You
the
are,
one.
so I'm sorry, my internet keeps cutting out. It's been like that for a few days. So.
Is that like the Atlantic blue tang, or is it a different species?
It's the same.
Yeah. Yeah, those are attractive.
I think it's okay. It's not the hippo tang. It's not the hippo tang, and it's not. I can't remember what region that comes from, but it's not the hippo tang. So it's like all blue, basically, and it's got blue eyes.
Oh, right.
And they're juveniles. They're yellow when they're all juveniles. So.
There's Alex G. Solidarity with the orange glasses. Awesome. Hey, Alex. Sorry, I didn't see you there.
That's all right. I'm not the troll you were looking for.
But wait, we have to ask the troll question.
Oh yeah.
I got to go to my notes and ask the troll question. Okay, where am I? Okay, Alex, this is probably a good question for you. What single piece of advice would you give to a new reef keeper? And by new, I would say someone who has a tank and has had it for maybe 6 months, only because at that point, certain things will have happened. So is there any single piece of advice you would give that person?
Be incredibly patient. Do your research. Don't be afraid to listen to a variety of opinions, even if you don't necessarily agree with them at the time. And kind of analyze that and make a decision on what you think is going to be best.
I like that.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree.
I really like the
Yep.
the advice from multiple people, even if you don't like it. It's good to get all those different opinions, or what I guess you could say, and advice. That's good. I like that.
Yeah, it can be confusing when everyone gives you different advice, but if you ask them how that is set up in their own system, sometimes you can get clues about why it works for them and how that compares to what you have and whether it'll work for you. And I'm famous for having 4 different ways of doing the same thing going on all at the same time. And a lot of that is for redundancy, but it's also so that if anything fails, any one thing fails, it's not going to be a total failure. And I'm also a control freak, so I don't know that I could ever bring myself to trust something to automatically respond to a test result by taking an action without my intervention. That's just too scary for me. Thank you, Alex. So what are you doing tonight?
Oh, I was just about to feed everybody. They're all waiting. They all know that it's coming.
Which tank do you feed first? Maybe tell people a little bit about what you got going on here in case they've never come across you before.
Oh, I have a lot of water. So as ReefGrrl said, there's it used to be about 1,600 gallons. I'm going to say it's more about 17 now because I haven't talked to a lot of folks here, but I do have a frag tank that I added. So, they're plywood tanks, built them myself. As I mentioned in the comments, I spent about 2 years doing it, and as you mentioned, ReefGrrl, yes, I did build my own skimmer. So, but the menu for tonight is, this is for the reef tank, so some LRS and a sheet of algae, and then for the big tank, this will be torn up, some more LRS, some scallops, and then 3-hole cocktail shrimp, which a little bit of it, which I know she's going to come out as soon as I put food in the water, will be for the Mantis.
Do you leave the shell on the cocktail shrimp, Alex?
Yes.
And the tail and everything?
Yes, especially for the puffers, because they need to have something harder go through their digestive tract. It helps wear their teeth, and it helps their digestive system. So generally, if some of the other fish are going to grab it, I'll pull it off. But for the puffers, I especially want them to get that.
Right. It's so confusing because I never knew whether it was raw, cooked, and then I thought, well, it should be raw because they're not going to get it cooked in the ocean, at least not unless climate change really goes nuts. And so that would make sense, but you don't know. I guess as close to natural as possible, so fresh off the boat if you can get them. And do you rinse them and everything? Like before you feed, when you buy them from the market or wherever, do you rinse them? You just
No, they get tossed in salt water and tossed right in, and that's pretty much it with it. I keep it simple.
Nice.
I only use a clip in the reef tank, though. The other ones, it's not even worth it to try and put one in.
Right. Hey, Drama D, sorry I didn't say hi to you before. I did see you in the chat. Thank you for coming by. So that's your frag tank. Oh, you got the mantis shrimp in there. Oh, we got to see this. I'm going to make you full screen. Whoops.
Yeah, they want to know if you can lock in on Alex.
Yep. Can everybody see just Alex? I just
Yep.
Yeah, good.
All right, I'll have to let her shrimp thaw out a bit, but Miss Stabby, I'm sure she's wanting her meal. She's already waiting.
Okay, I can't see her. Whereabout is she? Ah, okay. There she is, right in the middle.
Yeah, she knows. And
how far will she come up?
What was that, Billy?
How far will she come up?
She's almost jumped out of the tank. I actually get a little nervous putting my face over the water now.
Oh boy.
They have videos on YouTube of people catching them with their bare hands, and they're huge.
Yeah, even this little one, the way she stabs stuff, no thanks.
Wow.
I don't blame
If you ever make it into the Chicago area, you're more than welcome to try and hand feed her.
Oh, no way.
Has she grown much since you've got her, Alex?
You know, it's hard. It's so hard to tell. I want to say, yeah, she's definitely grown some. They're not the fastest growing organisms out there, but she's definitely put on a little bit of length. I always find that hard when you see them every day, unless you look at old pictures.
You have her in a glass tank, right?
Yeah, this is my 150-gallon refugium tank. So I just added a new light today. That was my Black Friday shopping.
I thought they need to be keeping acrylic.
Not a big acrylic tank fan, and this was just a used 150 I got in the area.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Mo says most of the stuff he learned 8 years ago, it's true. It's like even stuff like 4 years ago is totally. You could still go with the old methods, but so much has changed. It's like it's hard to get something that you used to use years ago.
I think a lot of the chemicals are a lot more targeted now than they used to be, where like you were talking, Pat, about your early days, how you use like you're just doing basic stuff and you really couldn't even test.
Yep.
And now with the advent of testing and improvements in testing technology, we know so much more about the details. And I mean, I think people interchange accuracy and precision. Like there's no sense having a number that goes to 6 digits if it's not the right number. So precision isn't always all it's cracked up to be. It has to be accurate.
All right, I'm ready to feed here.
Now,
Everybody ready?
Yeah. Is she a spear mantis?
Yes, she is. So she also knows what the speeding stick looks like. So I'm gonna try and get it in as best I can.
Does she say anything before she spears it? Like, does she scream like "This is Sparta" and then she hits it?
Probably.
Oh, there she is. Lurking.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun.
We need the sound effect music.
It's so cool looking.
Well, now we're gonna go into stalker mode here.
Camera.
She does get camera shy, so
I can't get over the color. It's amazing. Wow. And just like that, it's gone.
yeah. I mean, even when I put my phone camera on to like 240 frames a second, it's still a blur how fast it is. All right, now we got to feed this guy because if I try to feed the serpent star before the mantis, the mantis doesn't appreciate that.
It's not me doing the Jaws music, by the way.
I don't even hear it on my side. Try and get another piece of food on the spear.
So T40 is wondering what the piece of equipment that we use now that we couldn't go without. You know, maybe you didn't start with, and since you got it, you just can't believe you never had it.
Calcium reactor for me.
Yeah.
I would say for me it would be a dosing pump.
Oh, that's a good one. Yep.
Yeah, I love my dosing pump.
I feel like I resisted for a very long time. Oh my God, Alex.
That thing
is huge. And it lives in the same tank as the mantis?
Yep. My wife refers to it as a demigorgon from Stranger Things and says, "You just keep that thing away."
Keep it in the tank.
No, and there's time to eat.
Wow.
I need one of those.
Holy smokes. And this on the right, is that a leg from the same creature?
Yep.
How many legs does he have?
Six-ish? I don't know. I don't get to see the whole body very often.
Wow.
Well, they are a predatory serpent star, so you can't really, well, you keep them with fish with caution. They will eat small fish, so.
And what type of predator are they? Would they be like an ambush predator or like a nighttime? Do they have stingers on their legs or?
Oh, what they'll do is, I mean, you saw how aggressive it was grabbing the food. And I I've even seen this one do it at night. They'll kind of like sit their body up like they're on little stilts. And yeah, they'll just wait for something to swim under them and they'll kind of pounce on it.
Wow.
They're opportunists, so anything they can get a hold of, once they got it, they don't let it go very easily.
Amazing. Lisa's Aquatics. Welcome, Lisa. So nice to see you. Are you feeling better? I'm reading the chat here. Don't see anybody in my waiting room here. Pat and Billy are not there. Blue Carbon Reefing is still in.
I'm here. I was going to answer the question about piece of equipment, but to be honest, I can't think of one thing. And the only thing I can say is I used to spend top dollar for pumps and lights, and I'm starting to find that it's not worth the money anymore.
Yeah, I think you go through sort of a learning curve on that. My learning curve was cheap lights that were variable in quality. I've had a couple that were really good and more that weren't. But I cannot bring myself to pay the cost that Radion's cost. I just can't do it. And I'm sure that on some level they're worth it, but I don't think I could bring myself to spend that kind of money. If somebody gave me one to try, I might try it and then buy it, but I don't know.
I sold all mine.
Did you?
Yep.
All right, I'll do my best here when I'm feeding the big boys. They get a little bit more bitey.
Thank you, Pat. I appreciate you guys too.
Alex, how big is that orange shoulder that's still yellow?
Let's see. Where you at? I'd say about 7 inches to the tip of the tail.
Hopefully it stays yellow. That would be one of my favorite fish, but you can never find one that stays the juvenile colors.
Yeah, I got that's without the orange. But yeah, this one's always had more of a yellow tone on it. It actually got more of that tone after I got it.
Yeah, I just put one in my tank that's been in quarantine for the last few months, but he's 3 to 4 inches and he's already gray.
So the 720 is your fish only, right, Alex? Or fish and a couple of maybe corals?
There's fish and there's exactly one coral. There's a blue ridge that's been in here.
Oh, right.
I had a couple of colts and a sinularia, but when I was having my coral die-off thing, the colts kind of went away, and I think they might have been getting chewed on a bit. They will not eat this sea urchin. Don't ask me why. The Halloween one, they will not touch it. They will rip apart pin cushions and long spines and boring urchins. Something about that one don't taste good, though. And there's one cleaner shrimp in here, possibly two, that it usually is very secretive. It only comes out at night or when someone wants a cleaning, but that's it for inverts. A couple snails and a couple big hermits, too.
Hey, Sandy, I've seen your messages, but I might have missed a few as I'm scrolling through the chat, so I'm sorry about that. I don't see one. Oh, there's a message to Lisa. So let me know in the chat as I go through. If you ask a question and I miss it, just put it in again, and hopefully I'll pick it up. And Amro Azul TV is in. Amro is a fellow Canadian, and I had the pleasure of meeting him last spring at the Niagara Coral Show. And It's true. His videos are awesome. I love the science of them. And his sort of deep dive into what it actually means when someone does a research paper on some sort of a reef related topic. So there's another channel for you to check it out because it's well worth looking for. Oh, did Alex mute himself?
Yeah, I think I've been muting it. I
Okay.
probably got some background noise. You still see me okay, ReefGrrl?
Yep.
As you can see, some fish are quite pushy when it comes to their meal. Hey!
Lynn Reef Nerd has a question, Alex. How often do you have to feed the mantis?
So I feed frozen every other day. So this big meal of 3 cocktail shrimp and all this frozen and nori is every other day. So the mantis generally every other day. I used to go up to a week, but small meals often seem to do really well for her.
We have a question from Nat King Reef. What ATO would you guys recommend? I'll go first because I'm kind of a dinosaur. I have a high door smart level, and everybody thinks I'm nuts because everyone says it doesn't work. But that thing has worked flawlessly for me for years, so much so that when I was able to get one on sale, I bought another one as a backup 2 years ago, and I've never had to use it. And it works on temperature differences. So the only time it doesn't work is if your ambient air temperature is the same as your tank water temperature. Then it can't tell. But other than that, it works great. So how about you other guys? What would you recommend for an ATO?
I've been hearing good things about the XP Aqua ATO.
Anybody else?
I'm using the Tunesy osmolator. I've been using it for 9 years, and I've only had to replace the pump, which is like a $10 pump in that 9 years.
Wow.
And I've upgraded through having a 100-gallon reef tank to now I'm over 1,200 gallons, and it still keeps up with it. That's one fish I wish I could have, but you can't really keep in a reef tank, is a porcupine puffer. It's one of my favorite fish.
I just realized you remember earlier I was talking about getting a request to come in and I didn't know who this person was. It's Alex G, and now I know your last name, Alex. Oh, here we go. Somebody else has a high door.
Oh, you guys, okay. Am I not muted right now?
Not anymore.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Oh, okay. I just use the ATK for mine.
That's the Neptune?
Yep. I've been pretty happy with it. I had to set the timer up, obviously, so it could pump water longer, but I've been happy with it. I know their pumps do not handle salt water, though. I've seen many people have that. So I pull it out of the containers when I'm doing a water change.
Yeah, I have the Tunzi Nano 3152 on Mollywood, and I have to say it works extremely well, but you do have to watch that the sensor doesn't get blocked with those little tiny limpet snails, because it does get blocked quite easily. FC 3155, yeah.
Oh, this purple thing is a jerk.
What purple tangs are not?
I know. And I added 2 more zebra somas into the tank because I was hoping that he would divert or not pick on one, but actually he's being a jerk to both the yellow and the Scopus.
Yeah, Amro is commenting on your Picasso trigger, Alex. If I had to name a fish I know I'll never be able to have, that would be it.
Yeah, I gotta watch that. He's probably one of the newer additions, and he's bit me several times.
Yeah.
And that little blue line, he's gonna be something when he gets bigger.
I guess ATO is one of those pieces of equipment that I really resisted for a long time as well. I use a dosing pump to top off the water in my 29-gallon cube, probably for almost 2 years. And it worked really well as long as I kept an eye on the difference between winter and summer evaporation.
Alex, Sandy wants to know how you like the Pentair UV.
I am very happy with that unit. I got it used. It's the 80-watt high output. I initially got it just a few months after I started the tank. It started getting really bad cyano and hair algae, and I noticed a big difference in skimmer output and everything once it was put on. And it's a pretty simple device. I mean, just get the right water flow through it. Calculating that's really important. I got it set up for Prozoa. But I've been incredibly happy with it.
John Madlos, welcome. I'm so glad to see you, John. If anyone hasn't run across John's channel, check it out because his DIY is absolutely amazing. And I've been following along his channel for, I don't know, John, maybe over 2 years now anyway. And your tanks are always beautiful. So thanks for coming along tonight. This is great.
Time to feed the bubble coral.
Thing is huge. And Amro is wondering how to join the stream. So I will put up the email address. All you need to do is shoot me an email at reefgrrl@gmail.com. We have 2 spaces available right now. And I will email you back with the studio link. And then all you have to do is click on that. And then I hopefully won't miss you waiting in the waiting room, but keep an eye out for that if I get a request for an email. Oh, that's nice. Look at the zoanthids, pallies. That's beautiful, Alex.
Thank you. They've really been filling in nicely since the tank's kind of recovered.
Now, if I remember, had you said at one point you weren't sure you wanted to have zoanthids? in your tank, but your wife liked them, or is that somebody else I'm thinking of?
No, that was me. I was not a zoanthid fan, but I can now say that my mind has been changed. This is probably one of the highlights of my tank now. Just seeing this beautiful garden grow together. I
Gorgeous.
even got a few out here, and
Awoken, you do not need an app. You just click a link, you'll go to a website, and then you'll enter from there. Thanks, Tina. I see that you've answered that.
not a whole lot in my SPS section. Although this guy's been starting to take off.
Oh, that's nice.
And then my one big colony is almost fully recovered from everything.
What is that one?
It's blue-green. I don't know. Hey, whatever you want to call it.
You have to give it a name, Alex. I have ReefGrrl RG Midnight Firefly.
Alex G's the Grouch. I don't know.
The Grouch, that's a good one. That'll sell.
There's unfortunately I've taken away some of the dead skeletons and frags, but still quite a few of them on the rocks.
What happened?
I had a slow coral crash over the summer for unknown reasons, really. Did a bunch of different water testing, and honestly, I don't know what happened. I started doing water changes, changed salts, and things started to recover. So whatever it was has stopped. Just don't know for sure.
That sucks.
Yeah, it was not fun, and it hit SPS, LPS, and even a few of the softies. Not many of them, though. Give it some time. I'll get it filled in. I'm gonna let it go for a while on SPS before I dive into that anymore.
Any more questions? Anyone has in the chat?
I'll reverse one for you if you want, ReefGrrl.
Sure.
So when you went to the Shed Aquarium, what was the most impressive thing that you saw there?
The Real Reefs exhibit, which we almost didn't go to because my feet were killing me. I was starving. And I just thought, what can that be? But oh my God, the one where you had to take the elevator and go down.
Oh yeah, I've been down there a few times.
That thing was unbelievable. I mean, being able to stand in front of a sheet of glass that's over 12 feet tall and watch these huge schools of fish go by. It gives me shivers now, just even thinking about it. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place, and it does not look as big as it is from the outside.
No, and what's so impressive about it is that the building was purpose-built to be an aquarium, a public aquarium. And Chicago overall was impressive in that respect because their waterfront is used for recreation and culture and hasn't given over to greed like a lot of places that all they use it for is condo towers and, so all the rich people can look at the water. It's an amazing city. We have a newbie.
Yeah, I'm about 40 miles.
Sorry, go ahead.
About 40 miles outside there.
Yeah. We have a question from Yavi. I'm dropping a point in ALK every 3 days, topping off by hand. Is this rate of change cause for concern and an investment in a dosing system yet? So I guess part of that question for me would be, obviously you're testing frequently enough to know that it's going down 1 point every 3 days. So you probably have the information you need to calculate how much you need to increase in order to maintain it at some level. So I think that's when you can calculate that. I think that's when it's worth getting a dosing system. What? Anybody else?
I would agree if you know you're dropping that much, unless you like dosing by hand. But I would say go for the dosing so you could be more even throughout the day.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You know, I mean, if you enjoy dosing by hand, you know, continue. But a doser really does make life easier, and having something to dose a certain milliliter of whatever you're using to raise your alkalinity at a certain time every day just keeps you consistent and keeps you from skipping or missing doses.
Yeah, and what happens when you want to go out of town for a week? It's probably not going to be good to drop, 2 points in DKH.
Somebody's asking, what keeps y'all in the hobby? That's a good question.
I'd say what keeps me in the hobby is just the corals, the want and desire to be successful at this hobby and keep different corals and watch them grow, and to meet friends and to learn, because I feel like every day in this hobby I at least learn something.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing with reefing. You can't not learn and keep a tank going.
Like for instance today, I mean, it's a small thing, it's nothing mind-blowing, but I was checking my phosphates with my Hanna checker, and it said I had 0 ppm, and I said, well, that's not possible. It's been 6 days since my last water change, so I was expecting higher phosphates. And then I was talking to my buddy Pat from Murphy's Aquatics here on YouTube, and he said, when's the last time you checked the battery in that thing? And I said, well, I haven't checked the battery or put a new battery in it since I got it. So with the same water samples, I put a new battery in my Hanna checker, retested with the same samples, and boom, I got my reading.
Huh.
So something as small as your battery, it's just stuff you learn, little things you learn. And it's also good in this type of hobby to have several buddies or people you talk to on the normal that for little things like that, they can just give you their advice.
Yeah, and unfortunately, most of the time you're learning from mistakes. Because I'm sure Pat had that problem to learn that.
Yeah, the challenge of it too. It's just fun to kind of push yourself and see if you can do it.
I love it because not many people have what I have in my house. And I've always been a person who looks for something different than what other people have. It's one of the reasons I don't have a yellow tang, even though I like them. Lots of people have them, so I look for the different fish. So I have a Tomini tang, And having a reef tank, and I mean, we're going to be moving in the future, probably within the next year and a half. And part of that move is going to be a new tank for me. And I listened to BRS's video on Ryan's big tank build. And one of the things he said really made me think, and it was that having a reef tank, you've got something that's so cool that not many people have. You should put it in a place in your house where people can see it. Don't stick it in the basement, especially if you don't spend a lot of time in a basement, because you'll probably start neglecting it. Put it somewhere that is pride of place so that, you know, you can show it off a little bit. And I kind of identify with that, because I love it if people come to my house and they walk by the room and they see it and they want to know about it.
Yeah.
So for me, having a reef tank the hobby is something not many people do. And it's a challenge, and it takes every bit of, you know, intellect and troubleshooting ability and all of that I have. And no 2 days are the same.
Nope.
Plus that sense of discovery you get. You know, there's so many unique things and special things you get to see. Like, you know, the other night, I had, 2 nights this week, I had fish hatching in my 720-gallon tank and a baby fry.
Wow.
And just randomly looking at the tank at night after the lights went out, and I see all these little sticks in there with eyes, and I'm like, what the heck is that? And I put them under the microscope, and I see their baby fish, and I'm like, that's just incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm addicted in a few different ways, because I love the challenge. I love the corals, and you know, trying to make everything work, and it is a huge challenge. But I also love the DIY aspect and fish rooms and equipment. I mean, there's so many different things that you can love about the hobby.
We just had Amro join the stream.
Hello.
He's muted
All right.
right now. So
Can
hey,
you guys-
Amro.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Well, thanks. I've never been on a live stream before.
That's awesome. So what do you think, guys? Should I ask him the troll question?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
I don't know if you missed it earlier, Amro. I have some questions to ask people, kind of like a little bit of an icebreaker. And this isn't anything that's hard or tricky or whatever, but just to sort of introduce yourself a little bit. And you can think of me as the troll that guards the bridge to the live stream studio. So let me see here. How about this? If you think of a reef keeper that you really respect, what one question would you ask them? Sort of like the elevator pitch. If you were in an elevator with someone you really respected, and you knew that they deserved your respect, they have a reef tank, what would you ask them?
To babysit my tank.
That's an awesome answer.
Are you free this weekend?
Yeah, that's an awesome answer. I never expected that. I was thinking more like, oh, how do you get this blah, blah, whatever to grow? That's pretty amazing.
Wait, do I get to pass the bridge, or
You're in.
is my body dumped in the river?
No, you're in. You're in.
Yeah, I just want to second the comments about the Shed Aquarium. It's amazing, and Chicago really has like the best waterfront, and I feel like in North America. It's a beautiful city. Yeah, and I'm not from Chicago. I mean, I was nearby there for a little bit, but they definitely have a much better waterfront than Toronto, which it's exactly what you described. Lots of like condos blocking the view, and the aquarium is amazing.
Yeah.
And I feel I recently watched your video about the baking of the corals.
Oh, I know.
And I know you felt really bad about that, but I mean, the number of really, really silly mistakes that I've done. I mean, been there, done that. Killed many corals.
Yep. And honestly, one of the amazing things about discovering the YouTube community is sharing this stuff and realizing how many other people it's all happened to, and knowing that it's not just you that made a really dumb mistake. I mean, what I did, I'm sure nobody has done, but if there's a chance somebody might do what I did, which was not read the instructions, who knows, right? Yeah.
Probably saved 100 people from doing it.
Yeah, I have the tendency to think that's probably happened a lot more often than you think. And it's probably the reverse, too, of, oh, it doesn't need a heat pack, and they get home and it's a block of ice.
Yeah. Yep. It's one of those things.
I should have mentioned something to you, Cindy, because you gave me a heat pack to keep in the room.
Yep.
When I came back, and I don't know how long we were gone, but I think it was dinner, right? So maybe a couple hours.
Yep.
The water was up to 83 degrees from one heat pack.
Wow. And Pat sent me a message to say his cooler was 75 when he got home. So, that was what, 5-6 hours drive in a car? So I should have known. And I gave him 2, and he stuck 1 on each side of the cooler above the water, obviously. So I should have known. And I don't know what, I think it was that, right at the end of the video, I talk about how they didn't seem to be warming up. And that's what I meant when I said I should have read the instructions, because they said that 15 to 30 minutes it can take for them to start warming up. So yeah, pretty bad.
I wonder whether, maybe not the best intended use for this, but in case of a power outage, and if you don't have heat and you don't have a generator, do you think that might be a good way to kind of keep your tank warm?
Yeah, I do actually. You know what? That is a really good idea. If you have a way to maintain some sort of flow, in my tank, my return pump and 1 heater is plugged into the battery backup. So for 45 minutes to an hour, it's just one of those UPS things. I can maintain heat and flow. So if I had to unplug the heater because it's 300 watts and uses more power than the pump, using those heat packs in a Ziploc bag or whatever near the return coming out would probably maintain the heat pretty good, I would imagine, as long as you could make sure that, you could keep them from touching the water.
I don't know if I would use a Ziploc bag. Those things might get hot enough to melt it.
Oh, that's true. 150 degrees. Yeah.
But Tupperware might be okay.
Yeah, maybe put them inside a little Tupperware bowl or something and float them, and it'd be like a little radiant heating system.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So I got a question for you guys. And so my tank is like a teeny tiny compared to almost everybody on YouTube, to tell you the truth. It's like a 55-gallon display, and I've been struggling with upgrading, and I'm like, some days I'm like, yeah, I get a bigger tank, and then other days I'm like, 55-gallon is kind of reasonable, it's manageable. So what the question is, when do you know it's time to upgrade, and whether whether one should upgrade if they're already kind of happy with the tank that they have?
Night Diacanthus, thank you so much for coming by. So upgrade.
If you're thinking about it, it's time.
Yeah. When your coral starts warring with each other.
I would ask yourself this question: is what do you want to accomplish in a new tank? And allow what you are looking to have as a goal be the deciding factor in the tank upgrade you get.
That's really sensible. So I mean, for me, it was just having more diversity of SPS. But I don't know whether that's like I mean, yeah, it's essentially having like more space for colonies to grow. I mean, yeah, but that's like, more SPS, more fracs to buy, more maintenance. Like I always like get caught at like things are just so easy right now, and I'm not sure whether it's going to scale up if I go to like 100 gallon or 200 gallons. It seems like it will be considerably more work.
You'll have completely different problems that you don't have with the 55. And what I mean is,
Yeah,
when you have a larger volume of water,
you
certain
need
things
more
might get
space
easier, but
and more space to add to the collection, then you kind of figure, weigh your options. Is the space worth the more water and the more maintenance? And
Yeah, I don't know. My next tank is going to be somewhere in the vicinity of 300 with basement infrastructure. And the age that I am, if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. And I'm doing it for the challenge. Plus, I want my pectinia to be like big, like this big. I want to have my Leptocerus corals covering huge amounts of rock. I'm looking for them to grow big enough that I'll get some kind of an idea what they would look like in real life, and not in a reef tank where we have no concept unless you go diving. Like Amro, you've been diving in the Red Sea, so you know what they look like in the wild, but most of us don't. So that's kind of the reason I would like a bigger tank, is so that I can experience that. But it's scary to think about it.
yeah,
So would you have the basement be your sump, and the display would be in the main floor?
Yeah, it would be in a dedicated room, and my stand would be open aluminum with just a column, and the pipes would go through that column down through the floor. My husband and I have been talking, and we have some pretty crazy ideas for lighting and just finishes. And if you ever see Blue Carbon Reefing, if you check out his videos to see what he's got going on in the basement, he has, I believe they're livestock vessels for water troughs. And today or yesterday, there was a video about a light that he's using to grow his Cato and his refugium. And when you see the size of what he's got going on, that's what I want. I want a 100-gallon vessel that's going to be used strictly for water changes. The water comes in there. I shut the flow off when I want to make a water change. I pump it out of there. I pump it back in there, turn the flow back on, and it resumes and travels through the system. I want the space to be able to do that. And a lot of it is convenience, because if I have a basement sump, it can be at waist level. So I don't have to be crawling around on the floor trying to reach stuff at the back of a cabinet. I hate that. So it's partly convenience as well. And when we set this tank up, if you've seen any of the earlier videos of what supports my tank in infrastructure, that was done for convenience, so that I wouldn't be lugging buckets up and down stairs and whatever. And it has its own problems, but overall, most of it works really well and has allowed me to keep maintaining it. So I would say, if you're going to upgrade, think about those things too. Don't just get a bigger version of what you have, but think about the things that you find difficult or you put off because they're inconvenient or whatever, and try and come up with a way to make that easier.
Yeah, I will second that. When you are upgrading a system, one of the things that's often neglected is the maintenance and the access. The idea of having a tank that's 36 inches deep is really appealing to a lot of people, but if you're going to have a reef tank with corals, and then it's like, well, how are you going to get to corals that are 3 feet down?
Yeah, exactly.
And the other thing with, like, there's a reason I don't have sumps, because it's exactly what ReefGrrl said. Like, I don't want to have to bend over or crawl underneath things to access equipment. And to be honest, I don't like the height of most aquarium stands because they're too tall. My stands are actually pretty low, so that, like, I'm sitting in a chair, I'm kind of eye level mid tank. And my big tank stands only 17 inches off the floor.
Wow. But you have that beautiful big viewing pane. So in your case, the scale, like the proportions are right for the size of viewing area that you have, I think, anyway.
Yeah. No, and that's what, like, the absolute top of the tanks is like 60 inches. So it's, and I put the platform behind it. So, yeah, having good access and convenience, and I would second a fish room style to where you can have equipment easily accessible, and it takes time to plan these things, but it's well worth it.
Well, I got my tank in late February, the current one, and we didn't get it wet until May 29th, and spent most of that 3 months getting things ready.
Yeah, I don't think I plan another upgrade until I get a new house, because I want to do the same thing. I want to do a fish room. I want to have a mop sink where I can clean my skimmer cup and do all those maintenance things that I can't do. And I really want to have a sump out from underneath the stand, like you said, so I can clean and do my maintenance easier.
Yeah, I don't think
I'm probably looking at doing somewhere around 200 gallons.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I can't remember the last time I was on my knees doing
Maybe
anything
a
with a
frac
fish
system.
tank.
Yeah, after doing aquarium maintenance for several years and seeing all these access nightmares, I was like, I'm not making that sacrifice with these tanks.
Yeah. Alex, yours was the first setup I saw that had a walkway behind the tank. And that's one of the things that I'm going to be doing, but it'll be in front of the tank and on the ends. But one thing for sure is my tank is not going to be 4 inches away from the wall. It's going to be out at least 18 inches, so that if I have to squeeze back in there, I can.
Yeah, that was a big thing for me, and it definitely caused a little concern, because it's a good chunk of space here to not have. But I was like, well, it's just for me and my wife to view the tanks, and I don't want to sit 10 feet away and look at this thing. I want to be right up in its face.
Yeah. Yeah. Johnny Martinez. Hey, Johnny. Welcome. Yep, it's so true. I really admire people who did reef keeping in that time frame, because, man, it must have been hard. And even when you look at the variety of corals we have available today compared to even when I first started. When I first started, Galaxia corals were the thing. But everybody soon swore off them because the tentacles they're crazy, crazy aggressive. Now it's just unreal. What time we got here? If everybody watched to the end of my video, I said I was going to do a giveaway. I don't know. Do you think now's a good time to maybe do a giveaway? And then we got to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
So
I say go for it.
Go for it.
All right. So what I have is this. Orfec was very kind, and they sent me their new lens kit right here.
Oh, that thing.
And this happens to be an open box, but the winner will get an unsealed, like an unopened sealed box. Okay. And I'll be having a video reviewing these, and I learned something really interesting about this particular lens set. Where's my camera? There it is. Compared with the others that are on the market. I have 4 different camera filter lens sets. And of all of them, this one was what allowed me to see at the back of my tank and capture on video polyp extension on my Acropora. Because the other lenses, I could not get a crisp enough image. And there's a reason why. And I'm going to go into that a little bit, well, a lot in the video. So they sent me 5 sets of lenses, and I already sent one to Pat, and I thought I'm going to give away 3 more. Probably I'll give away 2 in the video, but I thought Premiere Livestream would be a great opportunity to give away one of these sets of lenses. So what would you think if we tried to do it the same way that Dave always did it, which was to come up with a number, and how many people are watching right now? 73. That's awesome. I can't believe that. That's just amazing to me. But what if we come up with a number between, let's say, 1 and 100, and I'll write it down on a piece of paper. And the first person to come up with that number will win the set of lenses. And the way Dave used to do it is he would have someone help him look for the number who wasn't going to enter the contest. I don't know, Pat, if you're still here. Pat, are you still in the chat or hanging around?
I think Billy's still here.
Billy? Yeah, Billy. I know Billy loves his Polyp Lab lenses. Wait till you see my video, Billy. You might want Orphex. You never know. People are putting numbers in already. I haven't even written it down yet.
Do you want me to randomly pick a number from 1 to 100?
Yeah. Well, if you don't want to participate, Amro.
Yeah, I'm happy to be the observer.
Okay, so I can write down a number between 1 and 100, and I'll put it on a piece of paper right now, and then I'll hold it up after that number is discovered. And Amro, I have your email, so I will email you what that number is.
Okay.
And if you can watch the chat at the same time I do, we'll try and come up with who types that number first.
Okay.
So would that be okay? Everybody understand how that works?
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to have to say go at some point because there's no way we're going to go back and check all these numbers.
No. Yeah, exactly. I will type in the chat when the entries start. I will say go time in the chat, and that's anything below that will count.
And I'm watching my email intently.
Yep, I'm going to put that in there now. And I am not wearing shiny mirror glasses, so no one will be able to cheat by looking at the number I've written on the piece of paper. So I have this piece of paper right here. The number's written on it. Okay, and I'm going to...
Someone's typing pi.
Okay. So is everybody ready to start typing in a number between 1 and 100? Inclusive, includes 1, includes 100. And between Amro and I, did you get it, Amro?
I got it, yeah.
Okay. We're going to, whoever gets it first is going to be the winner. All right, ready to go? Anything under go now is valid. Here we go. I wonder if this is where the 10-second delay comes into play.
Wow.
You're going to see a lot of numbers.
Holy cow. You guys need to slow down. Yeah, stop. Wait. Hold on. Let me double check.
Are you doing the first 2 people to guess the same number?
I
No,
think it's
just
only
one.
one. I think it's only one. Let me just see.
Yeah, it's only one.
Yeah, it's only one. You want to announce it?
I got to find it first. Did you find it? You go ahead.
Yeah, I found it. All right. Congratulations. FC''S Reefing.
FC's Reefing. Wow. That's awesome. Okay. So FC's Reefing, if you shoot me an email at reefgrrl@gmail.com, then I will...
what was the number?
76.
Oh, here. Right there, 76. Sorry, I guess that was an important part of it, wasn't it? I'm new to this. What can I say? Sorry. All right.
I wasn't prepared at how fast that moved. That
Yeah.
that went quick.
you can see why I needed help because I didn't even see it. But when I go through the replay, if it turns out someone did say 76 before FC's reefing, I will also declare them a winner because I do have multiples of these lens kits. So I have at least 3 that I can give away. So one I just gave away, and if I have to give away more because someone else was before that, then that's great. I'll do that.
I don't think there's anybody before.
No, good. Awesome. Blue carbon reefing.
There was 277s, but sorry, Lisa. Sorry, Ken.
So close. Man, I hate even numbers. That's good. All right. So we're at 10:50. Can you believe 2 hours have gone by already? Wow. What are you watching on TV there, John?
It's not me. It's the wife.
Oh.
She's been watching like old history shows.
You were cleaning your glass a little bit earlier. I have to say, every time I see your tank, I can't believe how crystal clear the glass is. What sort of glass cleaner do you use?
I have a Fritz glass cleaner that I got from Dave's Nano Tanks that I still have the bottle. I have not gone through it.
Yep.
And then I just use a foam glass cleaner when I'm being lazy. Are you talking about cleaning the outside glass or scrubbing the inside?
Well, I saw you before you were cleaning it. I couldn't tell if you were using like a mag float or something like that.
Yeah, it's a flipper. That side's a flipper. On the other side, I just got it from Black Friday. I got the Toonsy.
Right.
Because my tank is acrylic, and the flipper and the plastic blades suck. The flipper's probably awesome for glass, but the plastic blades, especially when you start getting coralline, you can wear through the plastic blades in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like one use in the plastic blade won't really be effective anymore. So I'm trying to find a good scraper for acrylic. And the Toonsy I just got actually isn't bad. And I have 2 8 sides to clean, so it's kind of a pain in the butt, especially for something that doesn't float, to use one magnet on one side. I might even just keep 2 magnets, one on each side of the glass.
Right. One thing I wonder about Fritz glass cleaner, or any glass cleaner for that matter, John, this might not affect what you're doing because your sump and everything's downstairs. It's not under your tank, but I often have my cabinet doors open, but whenever I use any kind of a spray glass cleaner, I have to remember to shut them because I'm afraid of that stuff getting into my sump if there's any overspray. So do you know anything about that? Like, do they say anything at all about, is it like reef safe? Not you're going to pour it in, but.
Well, a lot of glass cleaners have ammonia in it, I think.
Yeah, do you think theirs does?
Fritz does not. No, Fritz you could probably spray in the water and be fine.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was wondering because I use the Fritz as well. And I was afraid of overspray getting into my sump.
Yeah, Fritz says it's ammonia-free and safe to use on exterior surfaces on and around aquarium.
Right.
I usually just use RO water, or if there's something on the glass, I'll just use vinegar on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've used vinegar in a spray bottle before. It works.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who uses the Mike Paleda's secret formula?
What is that? I don't think I've ever heard of that.
So he had a video where he talks about using this like 1 part vinegar, 1 part ethanol, or rubbing alcohol, and 1 part RODI, or maybe I don't think I have all the parts right, but it's essentially it's a mix of I think maybe it's 2 like it's 2-1-1. So like 2 ounces of 2 ounces of vinegar, 2 ounces of ethanol, and 4 ounces of RODI with a small drop of soap, just like a tiny drop of dish soap. And so I was a little bit skeptical, and I've used it, and it's it seems to do a good job. And I don't worry too much if it goes in the water, because it's mostly RODI, and the vinegar and ethanol is essentially just carbon dosing.
Wow.
Yeah, so the dish soap might make your skimmer go crazy, but it's one drop.
It's literally just like a teeny tiny drop in a whole, like a liter of water. So.
Oh wow.
So I've been using that for like 3 years. It's a quite an old video. Yeah.
Huh. So Lynn Reef Nerd says she would participate in another giveaway, Reef Roids and Reef Chili, and she'll send it out to whoever. So what do you think, guys? We got 5 minutes.
Say go for it.
Yeah? All right. Should we do the same thing again, Amro, with a number?
Sure.
All right. All right. Write down the number, email it to you.
All right, let me...
It can't be 76 again.
I promise it won't be. So same deal, between 1 and 100.
Well, maybe we should insert a little bit of Canadiana here and pick a famous hockey player number that is not Wayne Gretzky.
From Canada?
No, I think then people would have to use Google and yeah. Oh, those of us who aren't necessarily hockey fans. All right, so I'm gonna do the go now again.
Okay. Did I? Yeah. Okay, I got it. I got it.
Got it. And this time I'm gonna watch. Okay, go. Oh, this is the 10-second thing.
Whoa.
Oh, it's going. They're going slower. We have 68 people watching now, so there should still be a lot of... I spoke too soon. You see it yet, Amro?
No, I don't think it's...
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. That's a lot of numbers.
It really is, isn't it?
I don't envy your task.
420. No, sorry, 420 reefer. That's not the right number. I've seen a couple really, really close, like within one.
Stop.
Yeah.
Was it there? Was it there? I thought I saw it. I thought I saw it. Did...
Oh, I see part of it. But...
Okay, stop. Okay, I think you need to stop now.
Okay.
The number has been written. It's just a matter of whether it was mentioned before or not. Okay, so definitely somebody has written it.
Okay. Let me look. I'm scrolling up.
I felt like it was just the numbers were going really fast. I wonder if I could Google search this thing.
The platform, the streaming platform, has come up with a random name picker tool that's not yet ready for release. But when they do, this is going to be a lot easier.
Okay, so I see two numbers. I definitely see two numbers now.
Okay.
So perhaps, yeah, I think so. All right, so I think it's Reef Keeper.
Reef keeper. You're not dyslexic, are you, Amro? Because I've seen a couple that are the reverse.
No. I think yeah. So Reefkeeper had written. So the number is 16.
Yep.
And I see Reefkeeper here. I know he wrote 16 and 19, but he wrote 16 first. And then I think down the line, we did see Mo's Reef, Mo's Nano Reef, right? 16. But I believe Reefkeeper got, and now everybody's writing 16. Nice try, guys. I feel like
I see
Reefkeeper
that
got it first.
Reefkeeper. All right.
I think Reefkeeper got it first.
I see Mo's Nano's Reef.
Yep, down near the bottom there.
Yeah.
I can toggle the timestamps.
But if you go up all the way up, I think Reefkeeper got it first.
So I can only go back to 1057.
Yeah, I'm at 1058. Oh, Mo's Nano Reef's at 1058.
Yeah, there was one. There was definitely one like before that.
Before that, okay.
Yeah.
And it was Reefkeeper. So anyone dispute that before we officially award it to Phil? No, everybody's going, congrats. Tomothy, it was the lag. I had it, I swear. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so Reefkeeper and Lynn Reef Nerd, you guys can contact each other and organize how to get that sorted out. And that brings us to 11:01. And I said I was going to go from 9 to 11. So let's do that. And I think I'm game for next week. If anybody else wants to come along, I don't know if there'll be a giveaway, but there might. I still remember how much fun we had on Dave's Christmas giveaway. Everyone was coming in and just doing random sort of prizes. So that was a lot of fun. Okay.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for hosting it, girl.
Thanks, Sydney.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Yep. Okay. And
Same
thanks
here.
everyone for coming. It was 2 hours went by just like that. And I now understand how it's possible to go much longer, because it just seems it's like sitting in a room talking to all your friends. It's awesome.
And talking about what you love.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yep.
Thanks again, everybody. Thank you so much for all the super chats. Like I said, they'll go towards future payments for this streaming service. It's worth every bit because it's very, very easy to use. And yeah. So we'll see you next week. I will schedule the broadcast, so hopefully it will send out an automatic email with the time and everything else. And if you don't get something like that or a notification, then look for it at 9 p.m. Saturday night.
Have a good night, everybody.
All right, good night.
Good night.
I'll leave you with a short pre-recorded clip of my tank, the Red Sea XL425, as it appeared earlier today. Thank you so much to everyone who participated tonight in the studio, in the chat, and watching. I think I'll make this a weekly thing, so I hope to see you next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern.